Welcome back to Anti-Siphon channel. Today we're going to be working on a very important, whilst very fun and interesting plumbing project. So, a very common problem with homeowners is that there's lots of leaks with the hoses, with the outdoor faucet. One common reason is people forget to drain them from the winter, or they just don't keep enough maintenance. Also, if they remember to drain the faucet, then they might leave the hose inside, which is like the worst idea possible. Because the hose prevents excess water from going out of the house. When ice forms, it can crack the faucet in a very bad way. So we turned on the water for the spring and we noticed they have a leak. And if you want to ask me how, it's with a pool. Now when I turn on the faucet, you're gonna see the water is leaking. See, a lot of water leaked. Here you can see the water coming from the pipe and not from here. You know why? Because, well, you can see the pipe. It was pretty obvious in that video. It's also come with an anti-siphon valve. So this anti-siphon valve is supposed to make sure there's no vacuum so that it doesn't get sucked back into the system. Because that'd be kind of awkward, because like if you get water out and then there's no air or anything, it's like the water's gonna come back in. The problem is that in the winter, the ice may break the anti-siphon valve. This would be typically the problem, but in our case, this is a very different problem. You can see the siphon valve is totally okay. Because there's no water coming out of here. It came out the sides. That probably means I have a broken pipe. So now we're gonna have to replace the faucet, and I'm gonna show you how. So the first thing we have to do is to remove the hose so it doesn't get in the way. Some people don't actually have their hose right here right now, so not everyone has to worry about this, but some people do, including us. So before we actually take off our faucet, we're actually going to have to turn off the water, otherwise water explosion like we seen before. That was actually quite funny. So now let's go to the basement where we have our water line, also known as the furnace room. Everyone calls it that way. Where are we going to turn off the water? So these are the hose faucets. This is the ones in front, which we're not going to cover right now. We're only going to cover this one. So actually I'm going to pull it this way, but if I have trouble, I have backup. So this is the faucet that all we have to worry about. There's a ton here, and so we can actually work here, we are going to have to turn off the water. The only reason why the water leaked is because they had the water on. So now, because I have trouble doing it, there's always a backup for every handyman when there's required one. Sometimes handymans never need a backup, like using a screwdriver. Like there's no need for backup. I think I turned the water off completely. It's not going to go any further. Now let's go back outside. And to make sure that you are still happy, I want to do a handyman clap. I'll do the second clap when I get back. And we're pretty obviously back. So this is going to take a lot of force. It's going to be difficult. But we're going to take out the pipe. This should be much easier once you get this part out. And here we got the broken pipe. Yep, totally broken. Now inside could be clogged, but I have no idea, and it doesn't really matter in any way because this is already going to be trash. I was doing it I was moving it a little bit much, so I'm actually going to show you. I'm just going to I have a drop of water here that I'm going to use to clean it. Now my hymies suspect, as I said, that it's actually something clogged, but as I said, it doesn't matter since this is going to go in the trash. So what I think is that there was quite a bit of water and that it frozen, because if there's a tiny drop, then it won't get too big, but if there's like a couple drops, it may actually burst. So I think there was a couple drops of water or more, and it eventually bent and burst. Because if you could actually see from the side, you could actually see that it kind of expanded too. Now we took it out, we're going to replace it with a brand new one. And trust me, you're going to like it. It's very nice and shiny. And here it is. So, if anyone is interested, this is a Woodford faucet. I'm not going to have any reviews or anything. This is not sponsored yet. I never have a sponsor yet, and I'm not going to for now. But if anyone's interested, the brand is okay and good enough. So before we install the faucet, every handyman has to use something. It's going to be easier if you remember the video where I fixed the other faucet in Upstate. We use the same stuff. Not the same stuff exactly, but like the same stuff. So, the answer is Teflon tape. So, it's going to seal this. We're going to put it over here. We're going to seal the... So, what we're going to do is we're going to use it. We're going to put it all over the thread on this male one. And then we have to put it in the female one. Now, the Teflon tape is going to protect any leaks or prevent. If you know your plumbing, you know exactly what male and female threads are, but I'm not going to explain the entire thing because I want you to find out yourself. Now we're going to apply the Teflon tape to the thread. And if I did it too quick, which I'm sure, you do this. See where I'm holding this? I just tap it and it slides out. And before you ask if you want to get any of the stuff or most of the stuff in the video, I will have links in the description, because I'm sure most of you, if you want to actually do this, you will actually want to buy the products. So you have to do this very nicely and make sure you apply tension, because otherwise, if you don't do this very well, then you may get, and this may not last very long. And I don't know about you, but I want things to last well. And I'm pretty sure you also want that. So I recommend that you're doing what I'm doing right now and keeping it nice and straight, no tension, so you can actually see the thread nicely detailed. So by now it's enough, and you tear it off just like any other tape. I'm gonna put the tape away in my pocket, and I'm gonna finish this end. So when you rip, you might realize that you might have a small tail end. So simply, instead of thinking you've done something wrong, you just have to finish it off nicely. And make sure it stays there. There. So what I want to do is I'm going to put it in and just very carefully catch it very widely, and I just start screwing it in. So in the pipe it's actually quite dark. Doesn't mean I can't see. I think I already cut the thread. Now I got it in really tight. So before we finish the job, I wanted to add a little bit of insulation so the pipe actually doesn't freeze over, because isn't it simple? If the pipe can't get cold, then it won't freeze. Now the way to do it is to add insulation. And obviously, blankets will look if they were tiny. Now the way to insulate a pipe inside a wall is to use a special product, which I have right here. And again, I have the link in the description. So the brand looks to be great stuff here, and it says it's to help for gaps and cracks. And this will help inside a wall. And it says up to 1 inch from what it looks like. It says natural color. So this is actually foam, and once we put it in the wall, it's going to expand and harden. So before using a product, I like to read the warnings. So it says actually flammable, cuts under pressure, pressurized can, and do not expose can to dump over 120 degrees, which means just don't get it super hot. It says keep away from children and pets. I think it's safe to say I can actually have it at 10, and I'm surprised by my dad who is filming right now, so I think it's safe to say that I actually can. And actually, I don't want to have any inhalation or skin contact or eye contact or anything. It's gonna do bad. And if you can, then you can finish reading it, because I don't want to bore you with anything with all the ingredients, because as you can see, this is like too big. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the plastic, which is pretty easy to remove. They make it easy. And then we're gonna use the straw / sprayer, and we're gonna screw it on. Oh, before that, I forgot to tell you that I had to remove the cap. There. Now it says actually to wear gloves and protective equipment. Yeah, protective eyewear. I think I'm good for now, but we're gonna be good because this is gonna be inside a wall. And stuff, some of it is not supposed to be very clean, but we try to make it as clean as possible. That's why plumbers actually wear gloves. And the last one project is still quite interesting, and it's still much. If you have another plumbing problem that has to do with a clogged sink, I really recommend you watch it. Now back to here. So before we could actually spray, we had to shake the can really well for 60 seconds. And then we have to put it in a little bit, because this stuff will expand quite amazingly. I think you're gonna love to see how I shake it. So I actually like doing it the sideways, because it gets it more shaken, because there's more space horizontally than vertically. But this is the better way to do it, actually. And that's enough. So now we're going to spray just a little bit inside, because this stuff expands. This stuff expands really quickly. So I got to write just a little bit. So actually I should do it this way. But I might want to add a little bit more film. So now I put in just enough. It's going to keep expanding, as you can already see. And I'm going to keep screwing this in, because I'm not going to leave it this way. Now I got to push it in and let it harden. I have to be careful not to touch it, because, as I said, this is not supposed to be touched. I'm going to use some of this. I'm going to use a stick to take some of this excess off right now. Some of it is actually quite easy. Some of it isn't. As you can see, this will expand pretty fast on me. So now we're going to let the film dry. But before we do that, we're going to go to the basin and turn on the water. And we're going to see if it works. I'm going to give you chance to guess, but I'm gonna tell you my predictions. I think it's gonna hold. So now we're back in the basement, and we're gonna turn this valve on. And if we hear anything, that means it's probably a leak. But I doubt we're gonna hear anything. But there's one tiny problem. I forgot to bring the pliers. I'll try myself though. There, now it should do it. There. I don't think I hear anything. I think we're good. And we can keep the water on for now. If it's holding, right? So now we're going to go back to the valve and we're going to try it out. So now I'm going to turn on the water and see if it works. One thing, I bet it's going to work. Never be sure. Yes, it works. That airburst was kind of weird. But I have no way to explain that. But this is all good. But by now, I should probably start turning off the water. Otherwise, now I'm going to be wasting water and starting a flood. Which I know I shouldn't do. So that's why I'm going to stop. So now, look what happened. We went from this, which no one likes, and neither do us. So, and then we went to this new outdoor faucet, which is not just fixing, it's also, well, better than before because we have insulation. So, this insulation will make sure the cold air doesn't come to the pipe, and this will probably never happen for like something like 25, 30, 50 years. But all I know is this is going to hold for a while. I mean, a really, really long time. Before this video ends, it's going to be time for thanking. So thank you for my dad for filming and helping me out with all my mistakes that are not covered in this video. Some of them are kind of embarrassing, so that's why they didn't make it. And thank you for Dad for buying the necessary materials, because this is not free, pretty obviously. And also the foam. And thank you for Dad for teaching me how to do this and helping me make this channel possible. And thank you for my siblings for being quiet. If they would have been loud, this video would have been worse. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and bye. Now there's one thing why you should like and subscribe. If you want to see more of these videos. Because I'll get more motivation the more like and subscribes I get. But I'll keep making videos anyway, because I want to do this. And now, bye.